Hi and welcome to a Friday's live trading. So Kim Watson speaking as Charlie's off skiing. So let's see what I'm hoping to see if we can get a bit of trading off this morning. Otherwise it will be later this afternoon. Got plenty to do today, so I'm hoping that we're going to get some trades, as I say, off this morning. I've got some support sitting at the moment on cable here. Really, we're looking for a move up to its daily 21. So I'll just talk you through what I'm looking at the moment. Just looking for a continuation up to this 21 this morning earlier on, but we have got a bit of divergence kicked in. I just noticed on the 4 hours, which may spoil things somewhat, and it's this double top on the uh, hourlies has weakened it somewhat. So we'll see how it goes. It has had reasonable been pushing up quite well, so it'll be interesting to see if we can get that push up there. A break of this sort of trend line I've drawn here may be sufficient just to get me started. We'll see where we take from there. Euro this morning, I was looking at that as a possibility as well. It's had a bit of a sell-off through the Asian session there, already run down, hit its daily S1. It's edging on the weaker side today at the moment, but the overall picture has been a series of high lows, high highs. So I'm looking to see if we do see any bounce here, but it's Euros in the main has been doing pretty well whilst oil's been softening quite a bit, and the other currencies, such as the Canadian dollar, obviously being hit quite a bit. As it's really correlated with oil. The Aussie dollar hasn't been doing too bad, and it's been slipping, creeping back up with a bit of growth, a bit of possibly on the back of oil prices moving up a little bit. And now we're seeing cable improving a little bit, but the euro's been edging its way all the time. These spikes are that we see in the trading through caused by the Bank of Japan's actions through the Asian session. So at the moment, looking at the potential for these breaks in price action and possible move up. Okay, so looking at the euro dollar, and I'm looking, we've got the 8 o'clock pivot above us. I'm looking at possibly an aggressive long here. If I leave it too late, it will break through. So what I'm going to do here is just put a position in. It's just watching my price action on here. I'm looking to put a position in. Maybe pause for a moment. If I can get maybe watch it again and just pause for a moment. It's pulled back a little bit, but I was looking to maybe get a position in which will give me almost a free trade if I can get it. And what I mean is I'll be taking a half of the position off quite quickly, and then I can see if this is going to ride itself back up. Then the bigger picture has been mainly to the upside on the euros. This is why I'm looking to see if we can follow this through, but obviously today it might just roll over. But I can take from these sort of levels, this sort of support into these lower bands possibly an opportunity, but I'm just waiting a moment. Okay, I'm just going to do a buy here. It's a very aggressive position. I'm only putting a smallish position in, so I've just hit the buy button and got filled at 108.963. I'll draw it on the chart with a line here somewhere, he says. 108.963 just across here. So I have got that in. I'm just putting a stop below the lows and just seeing if we can get a position here at the moment. So tad on the aggressive side. It's only a 10 pip stop. Now, if it does get to that back to that 8 o'clock pivot, that will cover that. It doesn't matter if it dilly-dallies around here but at the moment. So stop, so just draw that one for you as well. He's just sitting down here. I'm sitting at stop losses sitting at 108.857, so that's bang on there. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So price-wise, entry levels 108,963. Okay, so looking like I may get stopped. As I said, it was aggressive. I may look at another trade on this in a short while. It's getting pretty close to stops here. If it doesn't work, I may not look at another one because we have got the 8 o'clock pivot untouched then, but we'll have to sit and wait a little while, I think, for that to set then, because it needs to come off some more. It's pretty close. In fact, I should have probably put the lows just below the lows of the day and not the lows of the, I've just been stopped on that. So it'll probably bounce now off the lows of the day off that S1 again, but we'll see. Entry level, if I look to take another entry level here, I think I've done a bit of a schoolboy error here in terms of where the stop's been. Stop may have been better off the S1 off here. So looking here, maybe looking. Let's get rid of that other line there of re-entering on this. To say a bit of a schoolboy error in terms of the stop there. Could have just popped it down a couple more pips and it may have been okay. It's still got a good chance of this being hit. In fact, I may just re-enter where we're sitting at the moment. So I'm just looking as we're watching. I'm just waiting a moment. Now, I may have missed a couple of pips there in terms of what's happening, but may look at re-entering, just holding fire just a moment, just to see if it does break down from this low into the S1. Okay, buying again, so I've just bought back in at this level now. Stops again. I'm going to put another stop in at the 10 pips stop here. Let's just check that's below that S1 area. In fact, I need marginally larger stop there just to just moved it down a tad more, but the stop's just down there. So see if this runs from here now. So just watching what's going on here, it is marginally moving up now. The 5-minute 50 is just sitting bang right on the pivot. So instead of taking a half off, if it gets there, I'm looking to take probably 2/3 of the trade off at that point and see if we can just roll anything up further. It's, as I say, it may provide quite a bit of resistance. We'll see, but that's providing it gets there in the first place. Up about 5 pips at the moment, but see how it goes. As I say, if it gets there, that's great. Okay, the Euro's attempting to push on higher here. I mean, the pivot is really where I want it to go. The 50 may just provide resistance before the 50. A pivot even. The 50 may provide resistance before the pivot's hit. So I'm just watching this. We could move our stops up a tad. I'm just concerned in case it was to do a triple bottom before it went up there. It is starting to change the shape. I'd like it just to get above these prior highs, if nothing else, because it's then changing the shape of the pattern, in which case I would move the stop up quite aggressively then. We're up about 9 pips at the moment, but obviously from the original entry we're not quite so good from that, but we'll see how it will run. So just got back to the desk. The 5-minute 50 has been air kissed here. Now this might be it. I'm hoping the pivot still be hit. What I would do at least is move the stops up here, up 11 pips on this current position. Obviously
got to treat each position on its own merit and not on the previous position. I've just edged my stop up a little bit closer because it was quite way below this low at one stage. I've moved it up to the lows here at the moment. Now, I want to get into a safeguard, and I've got to go and do a school run. So I'm looking at this thinking, well, if it gets back up to that 550 again, do I just take a hit on that? And I say hit, but take part out at that point. For this position, it will be up around about 14 points. And if I take half out at that position, which I think I'll do here, I'll just get my ticket ready. Sorry, I'm trading off another platform and another computer. So I'm just looking at, in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it now because I've got to do the school run. It's less than ideal, but it's air-kissed to 50 anyway. I can move the stop up to break even now and leave it. Or I could move the stop to, I've taken half off, so I can move it to leave it where it is, where it's sitting minus the other side, and try and let it run. Now, whether this is going to run for the morning, I'm not sure. The target I still have in mind for it to hit, because I'll say it in clear English, statistical trade, probability trade that I'm looking for in terms of the pivot here. But beyond that, well, it may want to push on higher. I was looking at the 5200 on this chart, the 60/20s, as a possibility. Never really got oversold this morning, but it has moved quite a long way from that 60/20 relatively from where it's been sitting. It seems to be dancing around it, so my thoughts are that it could push back towards that direction. So for now, as I say, because I've got to take a school run, I've taken 13 pips off that in the end. Just then, I will. Stop is just left at the lows here, absolute lows here. So I can't lose any money on the rest of this trade, but I might be able to make a good bit more on the break if it does push up towards that 200s. We'll see. So leaving it alone now, and I'll be back in the room in about 20 minutes or so, and back on the recording at the same time. Okay, back from the school run, and this euro position is still sitting there slow and possibly, I mean, as I said, it's had an effect from that 50 MA potentially. It's air-kissed it at least. Hopefully, if it comes back to it, it will run through it towards the pivot and possibly beyond. As I said, I'm looking more on the bigger picture of what we've been seeing of late. Now, we are sort of running into sort of resistance levels and will run into resistance levels, but there's the possibility of getting up to that 109.09 area and maybe beyond into back towards the 34 and 20 moving averages. The way we've seen this price action so often in the mornings has been similar-ish to what we're seeing today, where we've had a sort of a dip into 7 o'clock-ish time, and then we've been seeing some decent moves. It's a bit of a common move that we're seeing in the markets at the moment, but we'll see. As I said, can only just sit in this now and watch it. And as I say, my next target now really is that 5-minute 200 or 60/20, around about that sort of level. So back on pause. So it's been a long time sitting here, and it looks like the statistics may be playing themselves out for the 8 o'clock pivot. If this occurs, it could get a reaction off here. We have got a little bit sort of pinched in this moment, or consolidated. Now, hopefully, we'll see the range of that consolidation push to the upside and help towards. My target was sitting up that 5-minute 200, just to 60/20 sort of area for the second part of the trade. I can be aggressive now and start moving the stop up a little bit, just following behind the lows here. So I will actually move that stop up behind the lows. It's I could leave it where it is, but of course then I won't be locking. The thing is, I'm locking in the differentials in profits here from the first part of the trade that was taken at 13 pips. We're up sitting. Where am I sitting at the moment? It's just look at this. We're looking at the other computers. Up about 16 pips at the moment, where it's sitting at the moment. So it's thereabouts now. I'm hoping it will just get on and push on. So that's where we're sitting. Now, as I say, the target I've drawn up here, we'll just adjust it according to that 200 moving average, 5-minute 200. Okay, just moved the stop up to break even. We've run through the daily pivot, the 8 o'clock pivot. I'm still looking for it to push on some more. It's just finding a bit of resistance off some of the higher time frames. There's some MA's close-ish. It's just on a 5-minute 100, but it's had a push up there. It may just want to consolidate a bit, but I'm still looking for it to head towards that 5200 sort of area. Of course, that's coming down. Daily pivot would be good for the taking a quarter off there and then just playing with it and see if it will push on for us any more today. So I am actually going to take a quarter out of this point here. I'm 25 pips up here. I'm going to take a quarter for 25, looking at what's gone on. It's so the 60.21's been hit, so I'll take a quarter off that. Then the stop is staying at break even. I'm not doing anything more with it. And then it's the last quarters to see what he can do. And we have news at 1:30, so that will do me for this part of the trade and leave the last quarter running. Okay, so many hours later it seems we're still in this euro position. I'm just leaving well alone. As I said, the stop is up at break even. The original target was I was looking for the 5200. Now I'm looking to see what happens from the news. You've got the US GDP coming out 1:30. We're in the money here, so it's any poor news that comes out later on may give us a boost. We're in about 27 pips or up at the moment. It may push into that 5200 and back to that daily pivot level. There's no stats sitting around either, so it's just whether they do, and it may find a bit of resistance at that 200 and the pivot combined. But I am looking to see if we can, as I say, make anything out of any price action pushing in from the GDP figure later on, US GDP. So I'm going to pause it until about that time, and we'll be back on then. Okay, so we're approaching news time. It's 7 minutes away from the news, and I'm just looking at what's going on. Did a bit of analysis on this news. It's GDP. It's the advanced figure, so it's the least expected probably. The biggest guesstimate, of course. Now, obviously, if it comes in poor, we could see the euro pushing up, and that's what I'm looking for. So what we did was I just did some analysis and looked at sort of some poor results in the past. In the past, we've seen like 50 pip moves. Now, 50 pips would give us a double top on this chart, roughly. So if we did get something that missed considerably, of course, I won't just sort of close out at 50 if it's going on for a lot more. But if it looks like it's weakening across a couple of these prior resistance points, I'll look to exit the position. So it's a free trade. We can't lose money on it because we've moved the stop to break even. We're quite a distance. I say can't miss. If it was to gap down massively, we could lose a little bit. But with decent break, you shouldn't be gapped that much. And it's up at the moment. We've got sort of 27, 28 pips in our hand. So where we stage could exit it altogether. This position, but it's a bit of a game of chance here in a sense. We're in a nice position to make benefit from any upward movement on the euro if it does work for us, and I'll just look to come out probably most of the trade if it gives us if it flies up and stops. That's where I'll start looking to exit and see what we can get out of this trade. So there we go. So just going to be waiting now. It's only 6 minutes to go. Actually, I was just obviously looking for the positive side of this trade, being positive and being long on it. If it was to break down, one of the traders in the room just pointed out the potential head and shoulders. We're up here at the moment, but if we were to break, well, then it will take our stop out, of course, which is down here. But not only that, it may actually trigger a bigger downward trade, maybe back to that weekly pivot. But looking at the depth of this move here, just in basic old terms, maybe even give a few more pips than that, maybe even back to the weekly pivot down there. But for now, well, just won't try and second guess it, just see what happens. So I'm poised and looking really to take profits. Okay, so we're just leading into, we've got around about 30 seconds or so, maybe just a little bit more going. I've just changed this to a 15-minute chart. So there's the entry and stop is sitting at this level here. Currently obviously here, looking to see if it does rush up in terms of possible resistance points. I'll just move to a 15-minute chart just to give a bit more clarity. The any stalling around that R3, I'm being very optimistic here. The R2 or the R3 may be as far as it goes. We'll see. It depends on the result, of course. And I often get asked at this stage, well, what do you think it's going to come out like? And the usual answer is I haven't got a clue. It is purely in a fortunate position to be in the money and deep enough in the money before a reasonable bit of news is coming out to keep away from the stops, hopefully, as long as it doesn't come down too quickly leading into here. The stops are now widening and the results should be out. The results are out. It came in line, it didn't do anything. 0.8 versus 0.8. So there's no change. So the decision here really now is whether to say, well, actually, I'll take the money. I'm currently up about 18 pips. I don't think I'll let it go all the way against me. I'll just watch this and maybe close out of the position 15, 16. Right, I'm coming out here. So taking 15 on that last part now. It may just bounce from where we are here, but I'll close the, I'm happy to take the money. So all out, 15 pips on the final. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this video up here. It's been an interesting morning in terms of where we've been today. Early mishap, cost me some money, of course, but re-entry. Got the early statistical trade, high probability trade. It eventually come through completely and managed to, after a lot of dilly-dallying. And when I say this is a 15-minute chart, when you look at the amount of dilly-dallying that we saw there, so we got 13, took 25 off further up, and then closed off for 15. So it's at this stage, the way this market, it's a Friday market chopping. I'm quite happy to close out for that in terms of the three parts of the trade. So net gainer, even with the error I made, if I hadn't done the schoolboy error, I'd have gained more. But it's been a relatively good week in the markets as we've had some nice movements. So I'm going to call it a day at this point here, and right, as I say, wind this up. Hope you have a great weekend, and Charlie will be back Monday, and I'll be back next Wednesday. Bye for now.